Fucking hoes and popping pills, man, I feel it's like a rock star. I've been fucking hoes and popping pills, man, I feel it's like a rock star. All my brothers got that gas and they always be smoking like a rock star. Fucking with me, call up on the Uzi and show up and then they shot down. And my homies pull up on your block and make that thing go grata-ta-ta. Switch my waking back in black and started saying rest in peace to Gone Star.
What is up, guys, and welcome to the fourth episode of my F1 2019 career. Today we'll be getting into two more races, the Spanish Grand Prix and the legendary Grand Prix that is Monaco. But first up, we've got some contract negotiations, our first set to get through. We're trying to get away with being the first driver. We've outdone Norris in pretty much every race so far in this series. We're also trying to push for a lot of upgrades. We're not going for the simultaneous development because really we don't often have the points to be able to do it. You can see we're going for a slightly lower deal, and we have managed to get a new contract with 12th qualifying and 12th race position as our main goals. Let's take a look at the R&D choose. You haven't done it in a little while. We're kind of in the mid-table. You can see power-wise, or with a little bit low down, only Renault and Red Bull Toro Rosso below us, mid-tier in the aero and pretty high up in the chassis. But for now, the area that I want to upgrade is where we've been having some issues with the durability. I've been finding out, you actually see later in the race, I do take a grid penalty at Monaco, so we need to get some of these down, get it sorted, because I could just tell by race 4, we're already having issues on the ICE, we're having issues on the MGK. You can see how we're jumping into qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. I would say, if you haven't already subscribed, do go drop me a sub. We're into qualifying now. This is my lap from quali 3. A little bit of spoiler flying right at the back there, and this is a race that I feel like I can do quite well at when we get into it. It's not one with particularly long straights, got a lot of like winding turns. It takes a car with strong aerodynamics like ours does, really in the mid or the midfield. You can see the quali 1 results coming in here. Grosjean, Albon, Kubica, Rossi and Giovinazzi. Again, it's that similar set. 4 of the 5 that I pointed out last time. Raikkonen on this occasion does make it through to Q2. Grosjean being the one eliminated slightly earlier. It's good to see Haas actually have had a very poor start to the season, yet to score points in the first 4 races. Considering the driver points you have, particularly Magnussen is a very strong driver on the game. You can see here, he does make it through again, Magnussen to Q3, with Perez, Ricciardo, our teammate Norris, Weber and Raikkonen in P15. Magnussen is weird though, let's talk about him. He's made it through to quali 3 on a number of occasions, but still yet to score points, which is very, very strange. But just how it's turned out so far. Me and our main rivals have been really Racing Point and Renault, who are trying to fight for that 4th spot currently in the championship. We get through the final curves and turns of quali 3. The last lap we're going to get a chance for in this race, I believe. Yeah, the check flags are already out. I'm going to cross the line, and we are going to jump up there to P7. So a very good performance, a best of the rest finish in the Spanish Grand Prix. And then you can see the full result. The Red Bulls dominating, Gasly and Verstappen only 0.01 seconds separating through. And there's Hamilton in 3rd, followed by Leclerc and Vettel in 4th and 5th. But now, let's get into the race.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, a track that will certainly force the drivers to push themselves. It consists of a very impressive main straight going into turn 1. It's a straight that also offers a DRS zone, so it's likely to be a hot spot for overtakes. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, with Pierre Gasly alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel and Bottas, Skip, Magnussen, Butler and Nico Hülkenberg, Perez, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Weber, Raikkonen, Albon, Robert Kubica and George Russell. Giovinazzi and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Here we go then for the Spanish Grand Prix, race number 5, sitting in a very strong position. 5 red lights are here and the lights are out, and away we go. For the Grand Prix, let's see if we don't get off to the greatest start. Magnussen in the Haas flying up, now attacking both us and Bottas in P6. We're sitting in P8. We come into the first corner, trying to find some gas. We have to slot him behind Magnussen. Bottas dropping off as well. KM really coming on the attack early on in this race. We pulled pretty wide there. Hulkenberg could have gone on the attack there if left a wide option open, but we're sitting in P8 as we come to the first. Oh, we take a dive on Magnussen here. Then we've got the position back. That's had such a great start. The first couple of seconds, Absolute Electric dropped off and lost those positions that he did gain at the beginning. Up front, if we take a look, you can see Verstappen already gaining a pretty big lead at the front. Gasly dropped off on the other hand, down to P4. In fact, a very poor start for the Frenchman there, but Verstappen off to an electric beginning. And now we're on to lap 4. Really not a lot happened so far. We're headed into pits. Kind of stuck between we're not up with the front 6, but Magnussen just seems to be holding everyone up behind. They all seem to be scrapping, which has allowed us to get a lot of space. Now we're going to be the only ones pitting as well. It's going to give us lots of clean air. Try and get a huge lead early on in this race. We're heading into the pits and I can see, oh, fuck me, that was loud. P20 is where we're going to be sitting on the grid. Roman Grosjean, who saw the grid penalty right at the base of it. Pretty quick through the pits. Now hopefully we'll be able to gain a load of places with the undercut. Okay, then P9, and we've gained all the positions back, but we haven't managed to catch any of the big 6 that I was hoping that maybe we could do if they fought with each other. Gasly is definitely closer, who after a great qualifying hasn't had a great Grand Prix. Now you can see actually Max Verstappen, my memory is poor. Max Verstappen, who's been leading the Grand Prix, absolutely dominating things, is out of the race. And now we just get to the end. It really was one of those ones where we just ploughed through, did the race. Nobody came near us. It's a P6 finish, which is a good result, but one overtake on the first lap of the Grand Prix. Not screaming excitement, but consistency at least, I suppose.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
Come on, winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Okay, and it's the end of the Grand Prix. It's another win for Charles Leclerc. Dominating, well not dominating, but doing very strongly his debut season for Ferrari. A brilliant 6th place, and Lando Norris again. Great to see him bagging some points, but yet again, no luck for the Haas's, both of them outside the points. We now sit up ahead of Devon Butler with the overtake. We're into 8th in the charts standings, 5th as well in the constructors as it currently stands. Racing Point with a brilliant start to the season still. Here we go then, it is Monaco, the one that we have all been waiting for. If there's ever a race where we're going to see action, it is right here. And after a pretty dull, but I guess consistent and strong performance at the Spanish Grand Prix, we're hoping to build on that in this race. This certainly was an exciting qualifying start. Rain screwed over a number of big drivers. Gasly, Hamilton, Butler and Bottas all out in quali 1. None of them took the risk with the rain. Going out again, they all felt confident, and it went very badly wrong for them, with all 4 being sent out in the first session. That's going to leave options for a lot of lower drivers to be like myself and like Sergio Perez and Racing Point to be able to gain some top positions, get a really high qualifying spot if things can go away. You can see quali 2, both McLarens into the 3rd qualifying session for the first ever time. The Haas's just missed out, and then 3 of the bottom drivers more, and Giovinazzi, Albon and Kubica getting higher up the grid, but really allowing a lot of drivers who wouldn't necessarily normally make it to Q3 with a fairly easy run in. Now you can see we're on our last lap, trying to gain as much time as you can. Again, a warning actually for breaking track position there, but we currently sit at P8, and I reckon we can build a little bit further out. Russell, in fact, in qualifying 9 position as it currently stands. A big shot to see, and then a pump on the wing is not what you want to see at all. And we should just see in a second the results coming in as we go through Raskas here, and there it is. We do get Q3 as you'll see in just a second. The young lads fighting out the top, Verstappen and Leclerc, but Q3 on the grid. We do have a penalty which is dropping us a little bit, but that is an amazing qualifying session. We played into our hands quite well with Hamilton and whatnot, but a great session nonetheless.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hülkenberg, Lando Norris and Ricciardo. Skip, they've taken a grid penalty. Weber, Russell and Roman Grosjean. Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Alexander Albon and Kubica, Gasly, Hamilton, Devon Butler and Sergio Perez. Raikkonen and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Like no other, this is a huge opportunity for us. Both the racing points down at the back of the grid. Some top drivers out of the way and the lights are out. And away we go here in Monaco. We get to a very strong start, attacking right away on Ricciardo. This looks like it could be a battle between McLaren and Renault, with Hülkenberg in 5th and Ricciardo now down to 7th with our teammate Norris all the way up in 4th. The Ferraris on the other hand chasing down. They seem to be, I think it's Max Verstappen, who's had a very electric start once again to the Grand Prix. We're going a little bit wide through a couple of the corners there, trying to gain a little bit of traction, but we're sticking to the back of the German Nico Hülkenberg very well as we come to the start of this first lap, searching for a gap wherever we can find. This could be a very interesting race, because look at the back, as I've said a number of times now, the Mercedes are going to find it tough, because this is not an easy circuit to overtake, and we're going to hold 20 laps if they want to do it though, as we come into the tunnel now, past the swimming pool and the coast. Ricardo's arrows growing bigger behind us. We're going to have to be careful. We don't still have the pace of cars like Renault or Racing Point in this series quite yet. We're hunting down Hülkenberg. Can we gain and much ground? We have to swerve away a little bit from the barrier as we go through the mini chicane and a second chicane, all to slow the cars down so they don't fly too fast through this what was originally a straight section. A very poor corner, spinning a little bit through Rascas on the final couple of turns, and we'll end the first lap. Max Verstappen takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, getting a little bit of a gap on Ricciardo. We head on to lap 2 now. Lap 3 and Ricciardo's making his move. He's trying to get back at us here. We're trying to block off, but we can't shut off too much space to avoid incurring a foul, but we're hopefully going to hold the position. He has very little room, but he's still pushing for it. We're wheel to wheel here. And the Aussie, he loves a ballsy move at Monaco, and he's pulled another one off there. Daniel Ricciardo has snuck past us there in the most deftest of moves, in a gap that I did not think was available right there. Can we get the position back though? On to lap 7. Not have much luck with chasing Ricciardo, but we're going to follow him into the pits here, see if that helps. We actually hit the pit wall slightly there. Not what you want, but we're in now. Hopefully we can get a good kick off against him into the pits, making a quick one, lads. We had the advantage. We're actually held up by Ricciardo, and this is where things get interesting, because a lot of cars, the back runners, haven't pitched. You can see Bottas in front of us, Magnussen, who has pit behind us in the Haas. And again, we need to be careful corner cutting, because we're just, it's a track where it can go wrong. We've slipped over the white line of the pit wall there. You've got to be careful and avoid that kind of thing in a race such as this. Lap 12 now, we're slowly closing on to the back of the original 4. Hulkenberg, myself, Ricciardo and Norris. Renault versus McLaren. But right now we're all stuck behind the Toro Rosso with Alexander Albon, who's really holding everybody up, and we're really just waiting for him to almost release us to be able to get the scrap underway, because nobody so far, in particular Norris, can seem to get past the rookie. But here we are, lap 14, and finally Albon heads into the pits, and now things can start to heat up. We're currently sitting in 5th to 8th place, sorry, 4th to 7th in fact, as Albon heads into the pits. So it's going to be a straight scrap for some big points here for the two mid-table teams. Who's hunting up behind Hulkenberg? Can we find the gap But almost right now is Norris versus Ricciardo and Hulkenberg versus ourselves. We bump into the back of him there a little bit. We've got to avoid that. We don't want to be incurring any damage. We saved a lot of ERS for this, so that's really going to help us as we head through into the middle section, which is where I've really struggled so far in this Grand Prix. Lose a lot of time in it, and we're stuck with him all right. There you can see again, we go over the curve a little bit, and it's lost us a fair bit. We managed to see, if you're looking back on the minimap, is Russell still in the points, or is that a Mercedes? I have a feeling it might actually be the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Not a very good start off the straight or through the tunnel there, and Hulkenberg is getting a little bit of a gap as we close in behind him now. But he's slowed. Ricciardo has actually slowed his team. We're going side by side with Nico Hulkenberg. We pulled the pass off. We're having a real head-to-head with the relative. We're bumped. Not what you want to see. The wing has been damaged a little bit there, and another bump on the side there, but we're up into P6. That is big points we're going to get today as we come to the end of the race. A red front wing on that final turn. We didn't have the engine capabilities. We're getting more wing damage as well to be able to keep up with Ricciardo and Norris. But a great performance. P4 for Lando bloody Norris. That is not something you hear every day. We're going to bag 6 on the grid. A very strong performance. And I think we've got some other interesting point scorers. That might just be a Williams, if I am correct. But a good performance. Let's take a look at the results.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
So at the end of the Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel gets his first win of the season. Max Verstappen just losing out by 6 seconds. McLaren's and Renault's having very good races. Pierre Gasly and Lewis Hamilton both managed to drag it back a bit. Russell just misses out on the points, meaning the standings at the end of episode 4. Leclerc sits at the top with Hamilton just behind him. Vettel overtakes Bottas, meaning Ferrari will be top of the stand. We're sitting in 6th and then in 5th in the constructors. It really is with Racing Point getting no points there and us scoring big time, close the gap between 4th and 6th, and Haas finally scores some points. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Peace!